Hello, welcome. It's another update on the game. I've implemented level generation. Um, it's not very interesting at the moment. It's basically the same exact because basically if I get my thing back here, yeah, each level is divided into 5 different sections, and each sections 1, 2, 4, and 5 are all broken into rooms, and so each of those sections are 7 rooms long and 3 rooms tall. So, like, this area here is a room. Yeah, and then section 3 is sort of like a special room because specials, you know. But and as you can see right here, we are crossing from section 1 to section 2 because I'll explain that in a second. So the difference between all the different sections is the sections 1 and 4 are loot sections, where the player can find loot and stuff like that. And then sections 2 and 5 will be puzzle sections, where the player has to solve a puzzle. Yeah, puzzles. And so yeah, when it generates each section, it's got different groups of rooms that it can pick from to generate a section. Really just 2 groups. It's got one group that it uses for rooms 1 and 4, and then another group that it uses for rooms 2 and 5, because they're all like the same thing, so use the same rooms because easier. But yeah, and that's why you can tell that this is the boundary between rooms 1 and 2, because the templates for rooms 1 and 4 have these little bumpy bits, whereas the templates for rooms 2 and 5 don't. That was basically just so that, because this is an overview map that shows the whole thing. Because yeah, the way it works is each room is just a separate PNG file, and then it loads it all in, and then compiles it all into one great big giant image thing. Because and then it just goes through the same level builder as before with the pre-built, like the hand-built ones. Because those are also just PNG files that it would just read out from disk. So yeah. Oh dear. Yeah, obviously these are not going to be even remotely close to what the final rooms are going to look like. The final product will hopefully be a lot more variety to it, like to the point where you may not even realize that it's just a great big giant grid, hopefully. But yeah. Guess we can go check out room 3. Or section 3. Because why not? And while we're on the way there, I can explain a little thing. Because one thing is this whole level here, the whole level here is rendered on. It's not being rendered to every single frame. In a way, sort of, because the way it works is I render it all onto a canvas, which is an off-screen rendering target, for people who understand what that means. And so, like, when it comes to rendering each and every single individual tile one at a time, it only does that once, and then it just stores all that in the canvas, and then whenever we draw the entire level for each individual frame, then it just draws the entire thing just as one thing, which brings huge performance boosts because it's quite helpful. But the thing is, though, is since the level is so large, when I first implemented it, it complained at me because yeah, apparently it's too big. There's a limit to how big the canvas can be, and this went over the limit. And my solution was to use a smaller canvas. Basically, I cut the tile resolution in half, and so the resolution for the tile textures is half what it used to be. It used to be 32 by 32, now it's 16 by 16. And then I just render it scaled up by twice. So it's being rendered 2 times bigger than it actually is. And so in the end, it's like a slight loss in texture quality, but you know what? It's not a big deal. And as a result, the game actually works. And it also has the huge advantages of using far less memory to run, because the canvas is half the size of it as it would be otherwise. Oh dear. That happened. But yeah. Another thing that will probably never appear in the final thing is bits like this, where it's only 2 pixels wide, because as you can see here, it's a quite difficult to get through it. But you know, Dendron. Well, the AI was not supposed to do that, but you know, because, well, what happened is he tried to jump, like here, and then he fell down, and then momentum carried along and fell down, and now he's here. This is where he lives. This is his life now. But in case you haven't noticed, I did also change the texture. It used to have like little bits in it, like little things, border and like little dots, but now it's just solid white, because all the border lines made a grid and it looked bad. So, you know, it was a temporary texture anyways, so I just switched it out for another temporary texture that looked nicer. And another thing is the camera is also centered around the player now, which is good, I suppose. Yeah, it's a good thing. But yeah, sort of stopped working on this recently over the past few weeks, because I started working on another project. Ooh, it looks like we're clipping through that ever so slightly. I'm not gonna do anything about it. I'm just gonna live with it, because it's not a big deal. But yeah, I was working on another project, a little smaller project. But that's done now. So, gonna be working on this again, hopefully, if I can get back into the habit of working on it every so often. But yeah, whoa, big levels. Actually work on some fun things now, because in terms of actually creating the game world, like I suppose I think there's going to be a few areas where it's still going to use pre-made levels, and so I need to make those, and then I also need to make all the different templates for these rooms. However, I think I might get help from other people to do that, because the whole bit where making these things like that's where I typically end up giving up on projects, because I just lack the creativity to be able to do it in a way that looks nice. But yeah, however, it's no longer going to be a limitation on the development process. I can actually work on other things now and be able to test it in an actual environment here. It's like a freaking pinball machine. Just bouncing all over the place. But yeah, guess I'll see you in the next update video. Yeah.